Super Bowl champions.
E-A-T-L-E-S, swinging a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup for the lead. Yes! Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
Hey, listen to this guy. Tell me how you're feeling here. You're screaming.
I am stoked, baby.
You're screaming like it's still the game going on.
We're talking about the Fightins here. The Fightins. Said.
Should
Gentlemen, emergency pod,
Emergency.
SOS, send it out. The Phillies are going to the World Series. Never did I ever think in my life that in this season we would be saying those words. But here we are.
Dude, I'm at a loss. I'm like, this is like a dream. Honest to God, like, I mean, I never saw this coming. Honestly, I really didn't.
Just wild stuff. It's crazy. It's just really bonkers to just think that, like, and Jay, you can crazy. It's just really bonkers. You can talk from experience, Jay. You were down there. Chip, go for it, man. Tell me, because I saw the wife's video.
We're so excited that the Wi-Fi won't even work. Yo, I am every Philadelphia fan right now. Like, you're watching this game and you're realizing, like, it could happen. And then, like, your ace kind of is left in a little too long after getting hit a little bit. And you go to Sir Anthony, who's been good, but, you know, it's the wet ball situation. And then you need an MVP to do MVP things. And he does MVP things. And you just knew. I mean,
I'm sitting there thinking the same thing, and I'm going, and I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm going, something's about to happen. Something's about to happen. And to be truthful, right, I'm sitting in my living room, right, and the TV's on one side of the wall, and my father-in-law is in his place on the opposite side of the wall. His TV is like 3 seconds ahead of ours.
Oh no!
And as he's throwing the pitch, he starts screaming, and I'm like, all right, it's either something great or something fucking horrible. And then he hits it, and I'm like, and I'm literally running around the room screaming. It was fucking incredible.
Yeah, we switched to Hulu, so I've been streaming all the games, and I keep getting texts from my fantasy football group chat, and I'm like, okay, we're about to see something cool, and then something cool happens. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been a part and watched the 2008 Phillies and the 2009 Phillies and the 2017 Eagles and the 2001 Sixers. Like, I've been around Philadelphia sports for my entire life. I gotta be honest. I have never, like, this transcends all of it. And I can't quite figure out why, but everything about this team is what Philadelphia is about. Like, when you looked at, I think it's when you looked at, you know, the 2008 team and you saw the Ryan Howards and the Chase Utleys and the Jimmy Rollins, like, that was a great baseball team. And they kind of came up and you kind of expected it. Nobody expected this team to do this. Firing Girardi midterm, Jason Aaronola's not an ace, Bryce Harper on the DL. I mean, this team was written off by all accounts. And same thing in 2017 with the Eagles. It's the whole fucking team.
and how prophetic that Kelsey's there. And
Kelsey's literally shotgunning beers down the third base. I mean, this transcends anything I have seen in Philadelphia sports my 35 years of life.
Jay, go ahead, because you've been. I mean, I got to hear it.
It's hard to follow that up. I mean, Chip, you know, you're one of the best at putting things to words. And honestly, like, I was just talking to my buddy about this. My buddy Aaron, obviously, you guys know Aaron. He's a diehard Mets fan. And obviously, he's rooting for the Phillies because, you know, Mets are out, and he's my best friend. And he just mentioned that, like, we were talking about this, the fact that, like, Bryce Harper is, like, he's like one of the best players in the league. And when you have a player like that have an iconic moment like that in playoff game of this magnitude, it doesn't happen that often. If you really look at playoff baseball,
they don't pitch to that guy.
Oh, and that's what I was shocked about. I'm like, how do you pitch to Bryce Harper when you have Castellanos behind him, who's basically been garbage throughout the
How do you not bring in Hader in that situation?
I literally had that. I was sitting there with my father-in-law going, how do you not bring that dude in? In every instance, he was unhittable in this series. And you bring him in, you traded for him, you gave up a ton for him. Like, how do you leave that guy? How do you put the game on the line with that dude, and that dude never sees the field? I don't get it for the life of me. But I don't really give a shit because, as Ron Burgundy say, fuck you, San Diego. Oh God, it's so hard to put into words. It's incredible because, Chip, and to speak to something you were just talking about, right? A couple weeks ago, right? I'll be honest. I was on a show having a conversation about, like, are they going to fucking let me down again? Like, they had just come off like that. That's, they lose that series to the Cubs, right? They lose the doubleheader, the first game of the doubleheader against the Nationals, right? Where we're all going, all right, this team is a fucking joke. Like, are we going to get let down again? And then they get into the playoffs, and then everything turns on that ninth inning in St. Louis. And they put 6 runs together in that ninth inning against St. Louis, and they flip it around, and they're able to just run, right? And since then, they've essentially been the best team in baseball, minus the Astros.
Yeah, but what's crazy about it too is like you guys both alluded to, we lived 2008. We lived that whole run.
Yeah.
And there is something like different about this. And I don't know. I think it is Bryce Harper. But
he seemed numb.
I can't put my finger on what else it is. It's something about, like, I don't know, like, I think this team, because I know we connected with Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins. Obviously, they were homegrown talent. But this team, like, you see a bond, like, I was just watching, obviously the post game, and they're like, they're new, pretty much. They've adopted that song, and they're in the locker room, and it's like, I see a bond that, like, I didn't even see in that 08 team. It's weird. I don't know, man.
Yeah, something about it is just live, and it's bonkers, man. And I love, like, listen, when my wife knows that this team looks like they're gelling and bonding together.
Yep.
That part, it circumvents everything else, man.
I mean, look, we've all been around baseball for long enough to know that baseball is a team sport, right? But you still need those players, right? The Manny Machados, the Bryce Harpers. Like, you need those players in order to be successful. And for Bryce Harper to be given the National League Championship Series MVP award, which maybe he deserved it, maybe Rhys Hoskins did, whatever. You always knew it was going to be Bryce. For him to be given that award and immediately turn to that team, this team, it's just different. It is just different. All of the individual accolades, it's just different. Mute.
Don.
So excited, I muted myself.
That's
Good
Yeah.
gracious.
I'm so excited my Wi-Fi won't work.
Listen, everybody's on there. Everybody's on their Wi-Fi, tweeting videos and gifs and all the stuff to all their family and friends, right? And this is
I feel like every time my Wi-Fi drops out, I'm just over here podcasting on my own.
There you go.
Oh God. But it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, like, that it feels kind of surreal. Like it doesn't feel real. But it's incredible all at the same time. It's
and like again, and I mentioned some of the most recent, in the last I'm saying recent, but I'm dating myself here, but the last 20 years worth of Philadelphia success, where that Sixers team, you had Allen Iverson and he kind of carried them, and you were kind of just like, okay, cool. Like, we're going to go up against the Lakers and Kobe and Shaq, and we're going to get our asses kicked. That's fine. The Flyers, I mean, if they get in, awesome, great, but they're the Flyers, and whatever. No one watches the Flyers anymore, although they should because they're, decent. When the Eagles made the Super Bowl both times, right? When they made it the first time and they lost, they were a dominant team. They were supposed to be there. They finally got there. When they made it in 2017, they weren't supposed to be there. It was an underdog thing. This Phillies team getting here now, like going against okay, so you go against this team built of Hall of Famers in the Cardinals, and you slap them. You go against the world champions in the Braves, and you slap them. So then you go against the Padres, another team that's not supposed to be that great, but they got the big money guys, and you split in San Diego, and then the mentality is we are not going back, and then they execute.
yes.
I don't look. More than likely, the Yankees are not going to be able to win 4 in a row. So we're going to go up against Houston. You're telling me that there's anybody left in the United States that's rooting for the Houston Astros other than people who live directly in Houston?
Right. Yeah.
This team came together at the right time when they got rid of Girardi, who, by the way, was never the right guy for the job. They took an inner look. Thompson has managed them super calm, super easygoing. 4 more, Topper. That's it. This team has rallied around this lifelong baseball dude. And again, the Major League Baseball playoffs are about getting hot at the right time.
Yeah.
It's a 7-game series.
It's about getting in, right? You get in, you got to – so you're saying there's a chance, right?
I'm saying that if the Phillies go out and execute, and I'm actually hoping that the Yankees can win a couple and elongate that series and let's get totally rested so that we can throw out the guys that we want to. So that Wheeler can start game 1 in Houston.
Maybe I'm going to be called a homer. I know the Phillies aren't going to be the favorites. I think the Phillies are going to win in 5. I think the Phillies are the better team right now. I think the Astros have played. First of all, I think losing games in the playoffs is good for the Phillies. I think that loss that we had 2 days ago, I'm sorry, 3 days ago, I was at game 3. But in game 2, when they lost, a lot of people were upset. I actually think it's good to have a couple losses. It's good to have some adversity that you have to fight because that only builds character in playoff baseball. The Astros have not lost a game. So they think they're invincible. We're actually the perfect opponent for them because they're going to come in here thinking, oh, my God, we got this series locked up. And as Chip said, who the hell's really going to root for them besides Houston fans? Nobody.
And the thing is, like you mentioned, the idea of adversity. This Phillies team, even in the games that they've won today, yesterday, in the bullshit bullpen game, it has been nothing but adversity. Game 1, nothing but adversity. I mean, this team, even within a 9-inning game of baseball, goes, okay, we're down. So what? So the hell what?
Yeah. The way that they've won games, they've won games in every fashion, right? And you could have, in a situation like yesterday, you get down by 4 runs at the top of the first, and you could immediately pack it in. It's a bullpen game, right? And you immediately see that fight to come back, right? And they come back and they get 3 runs right back, and then it's 4-3, and then it kind of goes back and forth, and then it's 4-4. Right. And then they give up the home run to Soto. And now you're down 6-4. Right. And then they storm all the way back. Right. And the way that they won games throughout the St. Louis, the Atlanta, and now in this series against the Padres, they've won games everywhere. And listen, their starting pitching is pitching really well right now. Right? They got 3 guys at the top of the rotation that you can trust every time that they go out to give you 5 or 6 innings. Right?
You got one guy. You got one guy you can trust to do that.
I got a couple guys.
4 2/3 Aaron Nola needs to step his shit up.
Yeah, you're right.
Point blank. And look, I said flat out
What
that
a better state.
I start to change my narrative when November Nola steps his game up and October Nola steps his game up. You saw my exact complaint with him, which is the inconsistency. But the point is that we're in.
Yeah,
we are in.
All right, you ready for this? This is how wonderful the sports gods are. You ready for this? Yeah. The only day off in the World Series next week,
I saw that,
is Thursday night when the Eagles play the Texans. So you're going to have 0 competition. You do not have to split a screen. You do not have to share a computer or put a second monitor up.
I would.
Trust me, I would. Absolutely. But we're not going to have to, because the only day off that they have in the World Series is that Thursday night when the Eagles are playing. So, listen, it's an incredible place to be. It's a grease the polls. You know, if you're down at Frankman and I can't even Cotman and Frankfurt. If you're down, you know, on Broad Street, right? Like,
did you see that, by the way, already?
Greasing the polls, absolutely.
My God,
absolutely. But they're absolutely America's team. They're going to have everybody on their side, man. Let me
tell you, I was at Game 3. That freaking crowd, if there's not a better advantage in any sport. I actually think that the crowd at the Phillies game, and I know this might sound like blasphemy, is a better home field advantage than at the Link. I think that home crowd willed this team in certain instances to actually have those come back from adversity moments. Like, honest to God, like when Segura has that error, that could have, like, in any other city that wasn't behind their team, that could have, like, did a team in. But those fans, like, I literally watched it. Like, it was like almost like pins and needles, but like everybody still believed. Even today, they go down by 3-2, and I hear a lot of people out there saying, "Oh my God, it's over. We lost." And I'm like, guys, have you not been watching this team this entire playoffs? Starting with the game that you mentioned, on Game 1 against Louis, when they're down 2-0 with 1 out in the 9th inning and they win. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that this team is on another level. And like I said, all you got to do is split it at Houston and you get 3 at home again. I really believe that we have a legitimate shot, and it's going to feel different.
And I think the other thing that you have to take into account right now is, Jason, I agree. I think we do have a shot. I think we have a really good shot. But nobody put us here. Nobody put us here. So you know what? At this point, we're playing with house money, and I'll take that bet.
Oh, absolutely. Guy, look, here's if you're watching with us, here's the scene down on down at just outside Shibe Vintage Sports. It's just bonkers. Cities, the streets are packed. I'm sure the businesses are boarded up, but it's pandemonium, man. It's just fucking incredible.
I look at this team, and the thing that I appreciate the most is how they're playing for one another. Like, yes, we have superstars on this team. You know, we have the Bryce Harpers and the Zach Wheelers and the JT Real Mutos. And we have the Schwarbers who bring in that winning mentality. And we have those, you know, the Castellanos who should be doing a lot better. And Gene Segura, who's been like this whole it's the whole team.
Clutch.
It's clutch. It truly is. Oh God.
It's so exciting because they keep mentioning, oh, well, it was an 11-year drought from the playoffs, and I get that.
Yeah.
But it was a chosen drought.
Yeah.
Like the team was not competitive, and then they lock up Bryce Harper, and there was a lot of people in the sports world who were like, oh, well, he's going to demand a trade. No, he's not. He's not going to demand a trade. He loves this team. He loves this city. He loves this franchise and the people that he is bringing in because of it. Like there is not a better place to be in the entire sports world than Philadelphia right now.
It truly is. Truly is. And listen, I'm going to bring up Adam's point, right? Talk about Rob Thompson, right?
He's the manager of the year. He's manager of the year. No question.
He has to be. Right, he has to be for the position that he was in and the place where he started, and to do what he's done with the guys on this roster, and to turn the mentality of this team. Right, and Chip, you and I know, right? Be sitting in, and Jay, you work with other adults, right? If you have a bad team, right, trying to flip the script on that bad group takes a lot of work, right? And Rob Thompson went in there. And just from day one, just flipped the script on this and really just made it about the team. It was about coming together. Honestly, it's a lot of the stuff that we see with Sirianni, right? It's a lot of the team building stuff. Chip, I know you gave me the stinky eye on that one, but
because you're right. Because you're right. Because at some point, just having a big name head coach isn't enough. Like Gerard, I could have managed that Yankees team to a World Series.
Truly.
Right? He's not a great manager. Girardi was never a good manager. Doc Rivers could have managed that Celtics team to a world championship. Doc Rivers is not a good coach. At some point, you need a fresh voice who actually is in tune with the players, who, believe it or not, wants to make the players the big name and not himself the big name. And that's what Rob Thompson has done. And that's why Sam Cassell will eventually lead the Sixers to the NBA championship.
Truly.
I love it.
God, it just feels good. It feels good to be on top.
Title of your sex tape.
I'm done. Oh God.
What you drinking there, Donnie?
Oh, Jay, it's the only beer to drink tonight. It is the ring the bell at the shout out to listen. I know they're not our sponsor. We got our own sponsor, Von C. Go check them out in Norristown. They got a 700 level Vienna style lager that is Philly sports. It's a Philly sports themed beer. Man, go check it out by our friends at the Drunk Phils fans. But this one is a Ring the Bell Conshohocken Brewery, right? To support your local breweries, right? But it's the only one to drink tonight, Jay. Gentlemen, I know this was an emergency pod, but anything else you want to talk about before we jump out of here?
I'm just
let's have the ALCS go 7.
Yeah, go Yankees.
No. Watch that. Just go 7.
7. Go 7. Okay, go 7. I appreciate it. Jay, go ahead.
No, I just want to say that I'm happy for each and every one of you guys. I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for all our listeners. I'm happy for Philly. We deserve
everybody. This is
what we do. This is like the culmination of what we all do. I mean, we do this for fun, but let's face it. When the teams aren't doing well, it sometimes feels monotonous. This is fun.
Yeah, this is what it's all about.
It's fun.
And listen, my wife, who God bless her, tolerates all of the sports stuff that I incessantly watch and follow. She sat down with me and watched the last couple games, and at some point at every time she's looking at me going, "How do you do this? My nerves are shot, and I barely know what's going on." And I'm like, "But you have to understand, the culmination of all of it is what makes everything worth it." the watching the endless seasons of them losing and losing and losing, and and getting close and missing the playoffs, and then now you get this where you see this team like come together, and they're coming together like, and no Stranger Things spoilers here, but they're coming together like this giant shadow monster that is about to unleash hell in the World Series.
I mean,
Yes.
1980, Phillies were down 4-0 against Kansas City. They came back. They won 7-6. That was like the momentum changer of that whole postseason.
Yep.
So to speak. Yesterday, down 4-0. A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, they're done." They come back, come back. They get the 3. Padres get another 2 runs. Then they come back again, and it's like, realistically, if you look at yesterday's game, that was like the momentum changer. Even though today,
100%.
back and forth, we were almost already winning this. It was just the Padres did put up a good fight. I will say they are a good team, and I'm glad that it was a good series and made it fun. Obviously, we won it in 5, and you want to win. And
I think you have, because you always have to find the what if question. And I think you have a slightly different question if Fernando Tatis isn't a super huge cheater and actually plays in the series. I think you have a potentially different conversation. But you know what? Sometimes everything just works out. And if you look at Philadelphia right now as the epicenter of the sports world, between the Union being in their conference championship, the Eagles are the only undefeated team. The Phillies are in the World Series. I mean, the Sixers, they apparently, quote, need to learn how to win. So I give Doc another 2 weeks or so. But this team, this city right now, there's all these eyes. There's all these eyes on Philadelphia, and I'm hoping that this is the start of a change in the narrative of the throwing snowballs at Santa conversation from 50 effing years ago, and maybe being, these people love their teams. Mute.
That's why we're the best fans in America.
It really does put to light the fact that, it's not that we hate everybody. We love our team, and we
love our own. We don't hate everybody. We love our own,
and we love hard. We are hard,
passionate.
It really does feel good to know that the players in this city recognize that, right?
The ones who belong.
Yes, but you see how they are able to get to support each other. Right, to the fact that they're coming out and they're going to games, right? You see other players from other teams in the city showing up at games. Man,
Kelsey, Embiid, Chris Tarian was there last night.
Jay Wright's in the middle of the seats behind home plate. You've got James Harden sitting, field side on an Eagles game. You got Joel Embiid in the box at the Phillies game. They all love on this city so hard that
it's the Philly fraternity.
I love that.
Spelled PHRAT.
I love it.
The Philly frat.
Correct. Oh.
Who'd have thought this would be our anthem, by the way?
I'm not really mine. I'm not the
That's all I got.
Gentlemen, it's been real, brother. Let's go. Go Phils.
Go Phils.
And listen,
Red October.
Listen, there's only one way. There's only one guy to send us out.
Do it.
It's Uncle Jack.
Hey, listen to this guy. Tell me how you're feeling here. You're screaming.
I am stoked, baby.
You're screaming like it's still the game going on.
We're talking about the Fightins here. The Fightins. Said.
Said Mike.